Hey everyone, Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur and digital marketing consultant, and in this automated webinar software review and showdown, we're going to be looking at EverWebinar and Stealth Seminar, specifically the top 5 reasons EverWebinar is better than Stealth Seminar. Make sure you check out the timestamp table of contents in the description, along with some links to other videos and playlists that dive deep into these two pieces of software, so you can of course choose the best one for you. Also, an affiliate link to EverWebinar if you're interested in learning more about EverWebinar in the description as well. So kicking things off at number 5, why EverWebinar is better than Stealth Seminar has to do with the design of the webinar room itself. When you look at the design side by side, they both have the same elements. They have a chat box, they feature who the presenter is, and then they have, the video for where your webinar goes. Well, the difference between the two I found between myself and students and clients is that the preference is the webinar room of EverWebinar, just because it looks a little more modern and it looks a lot cleaner. And we also like the fact that it takes up the entire screen, so the focus really is on the presentation. Speaking of design, reason number 4, EverWebinar is better than Stealth Seminar has to do with the back-end interface. Stealth Seminar is so complicated that they openly tell you that you should contact their support to set up the webinar. Now, if you're someone who really doesn't want to touch anything and just wants someone to do it all for you, then that's great. If, however, you're on the other end of the spectrum and you like having control, you like getting into the details, and you want an interface where you can go in and make changes without having to send an email, then EverWebinar is definitely going to be the one you want to use, because the webinar setup process is extremely simple, extremely easy. It just takes you step by step. You choose your settings, you go on to the next one, where when you log into Stealth Seminar, you're kind of just overwhelmed with options and you really don't know where to go. And even after they've set up the webinar for you, it can be really hard and confusing to figure out how to make basic changes. So for those of us who like having a little more control, EverWebinar is definitely going to be the better option. Now, reason number 3 deals with live. So if you want to do hybrid webinars, or you want to be turning your live webinars into automated webinars, then Stealth Seminar is definitely going to have you covered because of its integration with Webinar Jam. When you do a hybrid or live webinar with Stealth Seminar, because it's really designed to just be an automated webinar system, what they do is they leverage Google Hangouts, which is actually not as good as it sounds, because Google Hangouts has a lot of bugs, there's a lot of delays, you're not going to get very good quality if you want to do actual video, and so your webinar quality is not going to be as great if you're doing a hybrid or a live webinar with Stealth Seminar compared to what you can do with Webinar Jam and EverWebinar. I should add the asterisk that you're going to be paying a lot more because you're going to pay for Webinar Jam and you're going to pay for EverWebinar, but the end result is you're going to have a much better live portion of your hybrid webinars if that's something that you really want to do. And reason number 2 deals with how the actual webinar is delivered from a technical standpoint. What Stealth Seminar does is they take your webinar video file, they encode it, they upload it to their own server, and so when people go to watch your automated webinar, all of the data and information is coming directly from Stealth Seminar. EverWebinar, on the other hand, what they do is they take an Amazon S3 video or a YouTube video or a Vimeo video, and they pretty much embed it inside of their system. So there are pluses and minuses. Make sure to check out the links in the description that go into details about the technical side of this. But one of the big downsides of having your video encoded, while there are a lot of positives, the big downside is some people will be asked to install Flash or Flash Player, and this is going to be an absolute turnoff for anyone who's asked to do that. And that is because Flash Player is actually a pretty old technology. There's a lot of bugs in it, and it's really easy for viruses to get through to people's computers using Flash. So a lot of people don't want to download Flash, they don't want to install Flash, and so when someone shows up to your webinar and they're asked to install Flash Player before they can view the webinar, you might actually find that your attendance is much lower because all of a sudden people aren't showing up because they're unwilling to download Flash, where because EverWebinar just embeds a video essentially inside their application on a static web page, there's no need for Flash Player to be installed. And finally, reason number 1, EverWebinar beats Stealth Seminar has to do with price, right? At the end of the day, we all want to know, how much does it actually cost? So EverWebinar pretty much upfront is $500 or $497 if you want to get technical, while Stealth Seminar is a one-time fee of $97 for the first 30 days and then $69.95 per month. So the math works out $497 for EverWebinar and $866.45 for Stealth Seminar. So you're actually going to be paying quite a bit more for Stealth Seminar, and the reason you do is because they upload your video to their system and they do the custom encoding. You're also having a tremendous amount of support and essentially a concierge service because you can't set up the webinars yourself. So you do pay for that extra support. You do pay for the custom video encoding on there, even though Flash Player can kind of get in your way. Whereas EverWebinar, because it's a lot more do-it-yourself, because they're not hosting the videos for you, it's $366 less expensive. And so that does it for the top 5 reasons EverWebinar is better than Stealth Seminar. And I'm curious to hear from you. If you've had an experience with either one of those, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below, because your feedback and experiences will help other entrepreneurs and marketers figure out which platform is best for them. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because over on the channel, I'm documenting the entire process of what it takes to build an online business from scratch. And of course, setting up your webinar funnel and choosing your webinar software is just one small piece of that bigger, larger picture of bringing your business vision to life. So if you got some value out of this video, go ahead and hit that like button as well. Comment below if you have any questions. And as always, keep building the business you love. Take care.